Jaya Jaya Gopagana Shri Ramari Jaya Jaya Dhenu Vatsagan Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhiranagari Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhiranagari Jaya Jaya Gopishvara Vrindavana Maja Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Batu Dvijaraj Jaya Gopishvara Vrindavana Maja Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Batu Dvijaraj Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Gata Jai Rohini Nandana Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jata Jan Jaya Raya Rata Jaya Rohini Nandana Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jaya Dvijapatni Jaya Nagakanyagana Bhakti Tejahara Pailo Govindachara Jajapatni Jaya Jana Bhakti Tejahara Pailo Govindachara Shri Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shyama Jaya Jaya Rasa Leela Sarva Manoram Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shyama Jaya Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sara Parakiya Bhava Jaha Prajete Prachar Jaya Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sara Shri Janavapada Padma Goriya Smaram Dina Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan Vijanava Pada Padma Goriya Smarana Vina Krishna Data Kohe Nama Sankirtan Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jayo Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohan Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jayo Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohan Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Kalindi Yamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Kalindi Yamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan Hare Krishna. Okay. So now we will go to Jaya Radha Madhava and then we will begin the class. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradari Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Praja Janaranjana Yamunatira Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Praja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Gaura Premanande. Hare Krishna. Well, all right. Well, once again, thank you so much, everybody who's here in person and everybody who's here online. Again, I want to ask for all the blessings of everybody who is here, just so I can say something that's beneficial for everybody, and especially for the purification of myself. And yes, let's begin. Today we are going to be reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge, verse 29. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjananachalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Chaitanya Mano Bishtam Sarvatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadam Dadam Yam Tadantikam Deham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Kopesha Kopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanan Pavenebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right, well, let's start with the Sanskrit. Samoham sarvabhuteshu na medveshyosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite te shuchapyaham Samoham sarvabhuteshu na medveshyosti na priyaha Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite te shuchapyaham Samoham sarvabhuteshu na medveshyosti na priyaha Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite te shuchapyaham. Would anybody like to give it a try? Samoham sarvabhuteshu Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite te shuchapyaham Samoham sarvabhuteshu namedveshyosti na priyaha Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite te shuchapyaham Sarvabhuteshu namedveshyosti na priyaha Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite te shuchapyaham Samoham sarvabhuteshu namedveshyosti na priyaha Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite te shuchapyaham. Anybody else? So we will go to the word for word now. Samaha, equally disposed. Aham, I. Sarvabhuteshu, to all living entities. Na, no one. Me, to me. Dveshya, hateful. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Gornitai ki. Asti is na nor priyaha dear ye those who bhajanti render transcendental service to but mam unto me bhaktya in devotion mahi are in me te such persons teshu in them cha also api certainly aham I. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Translation. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Wow. Okay. Purport. One may question here that if Krishna is equal to everyone and no one is his special friend, then why does he take a special interest in the devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental service? But this is not discrimination. It is natural. Any man in this material world may be very charitably disposed, yet he has a special interest in his own children. The Lord claims that every living entity in whatever form is his son, and so he provides everyone with a generous supply of the necessities of life. He is just like a cloud which pours rain all over, regardless of whether it falls on rock or land or water. But for his devotees, he gives specific attention. Such devotees are mentioned here. They are always in Krishna consciousness, and therefore they are always transcendently situated in Krishna. The very phrase, Krishna consciousness, suggests that those who are in such consciousness are living transcendentalists situated in Him. The Lord says here distinctly, Maite, they are in me. Naturally, as a result, the Lord is also in them. This is reciprocal. This also explains the word Ye yata mam prapadyante tamstaiva bhajami aham. Whoever surrenders unto me, proportionately I take care of him. This transcendental reciprocation exists because both the Lord and the devotees are conscious. When a diamond is set in a golden ring, it looks very nice. The gold is glorified, and at the same time the diamond is glorified. The Lord and the living entity eternally glitter, and when a living entity becomes inclined to the service of the Supreme Lord, he looks like gold. The Lord is a diamond, and so this combination is very nice. Living entities in a pure state are called devotees. The Supreme Lord becomes the devotee of his devotees. If a reciprocal relationship is not present between the devotee and the Lord, then there is no personalist philosophy. In the impersonal philosophy, there is no reciprocation between the Supreme and the living entity. But in the personalist philosophy, there is. The example is often given that the Lord is like a desired tree, and whatever one wants from this desired tree, the Lord supplies. But here the explanation is more complete. The Lord is here stated to be partial to the devotees. This is the manifestation of the Lord's special mercy to the devotees. The Lord's reciprocation should not be considered to be under the law of karma. It belongs to the transcendental situation in which the Lord and his devotees function. Devotional service to the Lord is not an activity of this material world. It is part of the spiritual world, where eternity, bliss, and knowledge predominate. Should we do the Mangala Charan again, since we did it at the beginning? Okay. So in regards to this verse, with the help of Jesse Prabhu, we actually came across a very nice verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam where the purport basically gives the answer to this verse, which is very nice. It's in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, text 26 through to 30. It says, "The Lord is equally kind to everyone, as the sun is equal in distributing its rays over everyone. Yet, there are many who are unable to take advantage of the sun's rays. Similarly, the Lord says that surrendering unto Him is the guarantee for all protection from Him. But unfortunate persons are unable to accept this proposition, and therefore they suffer from all material miseries. So, even though the Lord is equally well-wishing to everyone, the unfortunate living being, due to a bad association only, is unable to accept His instructions in toto. And for this, the Lord is never to be blamed. He is called the well-wisher for the devotees only. He appears to be partial to His devotees, but factually, the matter rests on the living being to accept or reject equal treatment by the Lord." And from that purport and this verse, I picked 3 main points that I think connect with the verse and also are just very nice little pieces. The first bullet point, you could say, is reciprocation, because we can come to the understanding that it's not that Krishna is impartial or partial, but rather He reciprocates. He says also in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text 11, "As all surrender unto me, I reciprocate accordingly." So, let's see. Yes, "As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly." So we can understand that it's not a question that He is biased to these or only these, but it's natural. It's like I heard an example given by Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, that it's much like a teacher in a classroom. He is teaching all of the students the same lesson, but so he is equal to all. But if some of the students specifically go to the teacher during or even after class to ask questions, over time that relationship will grow and he will hold them dear and give more attention to them. So in the same way, Krishna reciprocates with the devotees who not only are interested and come every once in a while, but genuinely reciprocate with Him. So I thought that was a very, very nice little point. Let's see. Yes, so because the devotees approach Krishna with a loving service attitude, He reciprocates. So He is not partial or impartial, He reciprocates. That's basically it. Then somebody could ask how to achieve this very, very dear personal relationship with the Lord, because it's not something that is available to everyone, which is the truth. But let's see. Only through loving, sincere devotional service can we attain Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, text 55, I believe, he says, "One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God." So attaching to that point, that only by devotional service can we attain Krishna, then we can hop to the point of the different relationships, because each person has a different relationship with Krishna and they fit into different rasas, different moods or mellows. So, yeah, let's hop into that. So we can understand that not every devotee has the same relationship, and therefore, yeah, basically what I said, there's all the different rasas that everybody can fit into. Because in the spiritual world, there's many different planets in Vaikuntha. There's the planets specifically for these personalities, or the most personal, which is in direct personal association with the Lord. And not everybody gets into that direct, very personal association. For that reason, there's many spiritual planets, and there's many ways that we can worship Him here on earth as well. So from that, we can also understand the pure mercy of the Lord, that He gives every individual a possibility to worship Him. whether it's in Krishna consciousness, in another thing, or wherever, everybody has an opportunity to be a devotee. Obviously, it's like university and schools. You have preschool, so on and so forth. And you could say Krishna consciousness is like the postgraduate, if not the graduate. But within that as well, people go to different, not everybody who finishes university goes to the same job. There's many different places where devotees can go. So with that, we can agree, or come to the point that there's many different spiritual planets, and according to our relationship, we will go to the appropriate one, depending on how we reciprocate with the Lord. So, yes. I just wrote a little bit here just about the different rasas and a few examples. We have the Santaras, which is like neutrality, which is, they say, trees, water, lands, fruit, flowers, etc. Because they are not seeking service. Like, for instance, Krishna, he can go and he can take shelter in a cave when it rains, and that is in neutrality. But that cave is performing a very, very powerful devotional service. But he didn't endeavor for it. And you have the Dasyaras, which is one of servitorship, which is an awe and reverence, where they are seeking for devotional service, but they are doing it in the form of awe and reverence. So they see Krishna as God, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You have Sakyaras, which is friendship, which is like the cowherd boys. They're a little bit they're a little bit more cheeky with each other, and they play jokes. There's a very nice pastime. I don't remember these things perfectly, so please accept my apologies if I make any mistakes or offenses. But to what I remember, Krishna and the cowherd boys are sitting under a tree somewhere, and one of the cowherd boys tells Krishna to open his mouth, and he'll put a sweet in there. So Krishna closes his eyes, and he puts inside a dandelion flower, with all the little bits. And then Krishna opens his eyes, and he's like, "What is this? I thought you were going to put a sweet in my mouth. You tricked me." So obviously he knows, but out of his pure mercy, that relationship can be had, which is very beautiful. He plays and messes around with the cowherd boys. So that's a very, very nice relationship. And here it gets more personal, because servitorship and awe and reverence, the personal relationship is there, but it's not as personal, because it's in awe and reverence. It's like, yes, this is a very nice example that, so the awe and reverence is like Vishnu and Krishna, so you could say Vishnu is like Krishna when he's at work. He has to be very serious, he has to be very, yes, you have to do this has to be done. He tells the demigods what to do. And then Krishna is like at home. He's just very personal. It's like when you finish work with your kids, you come home, take your shoes off, you do everything, you fart, you sneeze, everything. In business, you can't do those things. But whenever you're home, you can have that very personal relationship. So that is like the difference between the different relationships in Vishnu and Krishna. Krishna is very, very loving and very personal. As for Vishnu, is much more, he's the head. He has to keep everything functioning well. He has to be very, you can't do that. You have to follow these rules, And Krishna is much more, he reciprocates, he's much more loving. So that's just a very nice little point. And you have the Vatsalya Ras, which is parental affection, which I believe is a very common one in Vrindavan, because they don't see Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but like that, in that very personal relationship, like as you would see your son. It's not that, to my understanding, it's not that you think Krishna is your son, but it's that kind of relationship where it's very reciprocal. And like I've heard very funny stories in the Radharaman temple where the deity there is very, very funny. He's very, very cheeky. And very, very funny stories where the pujaris have had to go up and they've had to tell him, I'll tell the story. But there's a very, very, very funny story we heard a while ago in the Radharaman class, where one day the Radharaman deity did not want to get dressed. The pujari was trying to dress him, and the clothes would not go on at all. So he went to another one of the head pujari, and he said, "What do I do? Radharaman doesn't want his clothes to be on." And the head pujari came to Radharaman, and he started to chastise him. And he was like, "Look, you have to put your clothes on. If you do not put your clothes on, I will put you on the altar as you are. And you'll be there as you are." And then he tried to put the clothes back on, and he put it on instantly. So it's that kind of relationship. Of course, he knows he's Krishna, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But out of his mercy and his reciprocation, as you surrender unto me, I reciprocate accordingly. He allows these things to happen just out of his pure mercy and love. So that's, incredible. I love the pastimes they have in the Radharaman temple. The deity there is so personal with the pujaris, and he's cheeky, man. He's cheeky like anything. Then you have Madhurya Ras, which is conjugal love, which is the gopis. But that's a very elevated topic, so I will not even try to really dip into that. But yes, it just shows, I think, is a very nice separation as well to have, is the understanding between the difference between, to my understanding as well. It's not like this may be correct or incorrect. This is my understanding on it. That it's a very nice to have that difference between Vishnu and Krishna. Vishnu is God at work, and Krishna is God at home. So to say, Krishna is just much more personal. It's so beautiful. And yeah, that's basically there for reciprocation. So that's how to achieve the personal relationship. How to achieve that relationship with Krishna where he reciprocates in such a way, and yeah, it's incredible. But that's done through devotional service. Practicing devotional service, following the rules and regulations, and associating with devotees. And it's a very simple process in the end. It's a little bit complicated, at least speaking from my own experience. It can be complicated at the beginning when we're still very attached to the external and what's not really super important, because it doesn't have to do with Krishna at all. But over time, as we associate more, we talk with devotees more, and we read more, my God, he reciprocates so quickly, And over time, the relationship builds, and it's very beautiful. And it doesn't take much. It takes a very small step that's, I don't know how to explain it in an analogy, but it's very heavy. Can be. I heard this thing, that Krishna consciousness is difficult for those who are difficult, but easy for those who are easy. So the more complicated, the more attached we are, the more we want to fight against Krishna. No, I want this. He's so merciful, he reciprocates as well. Like you could say, tie into this verse, how he reciprocates with everybody. It's not only devotees, so he's equal to all. But with devotees, he allows this personal relationship to be there. Because he's merciful to everybody. Everybody in the world is doing exactly what they want to do. Whether it's good for them, bad for them, if they are struggling or not, it's what they want to do in the end. And Krishna reciprocates. He says, okay, you want to do this? Go, no problem. That's it can be a little bit painful, but that's very beautiful. It's so merciful. Everybody can do what they want to do. And he doesn't really, he's cheeky. He doesn't really, of course he cares. That's why he gives you the opportunity to do it. It's not that he doesn't care. Out of his love, he lets us do these things that we want to do that go against him. Because he loves us so much, he gives us that opportunity. But to his devotees who are surrendered, quote unquote, at least for myself, who are surrendered, he reciprocates in a much more personal way. And you can see it. You talk to devotees like here in the manor, some devotees who have been here for a while, and some seniors, and wow, man. It's incredible to see. Here in the manor we have everything. We have from very new devotees like myself to seniors, and you can talk to all of them in between, and just seeing them as well, you can see the different stages and the relationships, and it's really incredible. It's such a nice opportunity. And such a nice thing to do, to take some time and to stay at a temple for a little bit. It's not that you have to reside, but even if you have the time to go for a weekend, a week, whatever it is, it's just such a nice experience. And we need it, And you build that relationship with Krishna as well, You come for a week, and from that you build. And it's not like if you go out, he's like, no, relationship broken. As long as you keep it, you have to endeavor for it, and he will always remain in your heart because he's there already. But if we are completely detached and disconnected, he reciprocates, which is very, very, very funny, very merciful. He's cheeky like anything, My God. Then the second bullet point I have is enthusiasm. I wrote that because enthusiasm is needed in devotional service. Also to achieve this personal relationship with Krishna, we need enthusiasm. Because only by loving... Yes, that's right. There's a very nice quote by Radhanath Swami Ki Jai. Enthusiasm is the expression of our desire to love Krishna. And you see it, especially we had a devotee Rasananda come back from Atlanta recently, and he actually, while we were in Leicester, I overheard him talking about enthusiasm. And I was like, my God, of course that's it. If we don't have the enthusiasm, we're not really expressing that. As you surrender unto me, I reciprocate accordingly. That verse in Bhagavad Gita, and that half of the verse is everything. If we can remember that always, or at least if we can try to remember that always and act upon that, imagine the reciprocation, the loves that comes from it. We need to be enthusiastic. We have to understand the reciprocation. It's not that I'm partial or impartial, or I prefer these or these or these. It's reciprocation. We all do it. We all have friends, but maybe we hold some dear. It's reciprocation, in different ways. And yeah, so enthusiasm is very, very important to help us make genuine advancement in devotional life, Krishna consciousness, and in building a true loving relationship with Krishna, to my understanding, to what I understand. Yes, and this I wrote down. According to Google, so I'm not sure how true it is, but according to Google, the definition of enthusiasm is an intense or eager desire to serve. And enthusiasm comes from a Greek word that it means to be inspired or possessed by God. Meaning that this enthusiasm comes from that. As we build our desire to have a relationship with Krishna, He reciprocates. And as He manifests more, we start to become more and more empowered to make that advancement and to actually achieve the goal that we want. Yeah, because we please correct me if I'm wrong, but to my understanding, it's not something that we can do by ourselves. We need the association of devotees, and we need these things, because at least for myself, if I didn't have the association of devotees and I was living outside or doing whatever, I know I wouldn't be able to continue in devotional life with the strength. I would still remain a devotee, but I wouldn't have the strength and the enthusiasm and inspiration that comes from just living at the manor and associating with devotees. It's incredibly important. You don't really realize it until you have the experience of trying it, and it changes everything. I'm very fortunate to be born into an incredible family, but yeah, without the support that's everywhere, and especially from the devotees here at the manor, it's incredible because it's a mirror. The devotees are all incredible people. Everybody, all devotees. Not that if you live in the manor and you're outside, you're not a devotee. All devotees. It's incredible. It's a mirror. Because the devotees, in the end, we're all striving for the same goal in general, as in we're all striving to achieve Krishna, or love for Krishna. Obviously, we will all go to our different respective places depending on our relationship and our enthusiasm, but we're all striving for that goal of love for Krishna. So when we can understand that, we see that our understanding of our reciprocation with people, like this person was like this person was like this, is completely based on our own mood. And that's a very funny thing to realize, because all devotees, we're all striving for the same goal. And that reciprocation that we feel is purely based off our own mood and our own understanding and all that. Yes, I think that's it for enthusiasm. And the last one I have is surrender. Because surrender is everything. There's a very nice quote in the book that I don't have here, but it says that, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the essence of it is that surrender in the material world is viewed as a very difficult thing, because we have to give up this and we have to detach from this, and surrender usually isn't seen. Also for myself, when I first heard it, I was like, surrender? What do you mean? I don't want to listen to nobody, man. I don't want to give up, blah, 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 whatever. We fight against it, at least in my own personal experience. But surrender is something so beautiful. If we really, really love somebody, we are willing to let go of whatever needs be, to let that relationship flower, to grow, and to really become something beautiful. So, yeah, it's surrender. We need to give up the things that are really keeping us from achieving that incredible personal relationship with Krishna that is there. We need to detach from those things and realize that where is this going to bring us? How long have we already been doing the same things for so long? How many lifetimes? How long this, that, whatever? What has it brought us? Nowhere. Obviously, we've made a great advancement in material life, and we may all be feeling great. But we imagine if like the peak of joy and experience and happiness that we can achieve, not in spiritual life, is like a millimeter of a grain of sand compared to the true joy that is there for everybody if we reciprocate and endeavor for it with enthusiasm and sincerity. And that's incredible, because also we start to remember that, because even, at least for myself, we have ecstatic moments in kirtan or wherever, and you remember suddenly, oh my God, this is nothing. This is incredible. This is ecstatic. Like, this is blissful. It's not that the moment is ruined. You're like, oh, this is nothing, man. Oh. You're like, oh my, I have to endeavor more with more enthusiasm. I have to give more up, because what is there that we are almost grabbing, we've almost got it, but then we keep going. No. It's like a bar of gold, It's just eternal, Satchitananda, and we go for the chocolate bar. It's like, what are we doing? We get completely distracted. And then, the 6 principles of surrender. This is very nice, actually. I think this is from the Nectar of Instruction. This is an incredible book. The Nectar of Instruction is like the how-to manual, basically, of how to become a devotee, and a pure devotee, if we follow it properly. Sorry, let me find this. Here we go. So, the 6 principles of surrender is in the purport. We will start with the translation. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. And these 6 principles are written in a book we can buy for like £5. It's like everything is there. Everything that we need to make actual advancement and to actually do it is here. It's in the room. It's everywhere. But we walk past it all the time. We don't realize what's there. And even for myself, like, we have it. Even we read it. But still, we don't properly have the right enthusiasm or surrender to do it. So we have to keep going. There's more to surrender. So, Haribol. But the 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. The first one is being enthusiastic. Endeavoring with confidence. Because we have to have full faith that Krishna will protect us. And he says that in, I don't remember, Bhagavad Gita. Yes, so this is a quote from the Chaitanya Charanamrita intro. The actual verse is a little bit different, but I like this because it's a little bit more intense. But in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 66, Lord Krishna says, "Give up all your nonsense and surrender to me. I will protect you." Krishna says it. And He's not gonna lie to you. He says it. If we surrender unto him properly, he'll protect us from everything that there is. All sufferings and everything. So endeavoring with confidence. Being patient. Understanding that it's not a question of you say, I'm gonna do this, man. And then you wake up the next morning and you're like, what? Where's my Krishna Prema? Krishna? I didn't get it. This process doesn't work. It's like if say you were going to the gym and you want to get this big physique. You have to practice, you have to keep going, and eventually you'll achieve it. But this is infinitely better and actually means something because it's eternal. Acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Shmaram, or hearing, chanting and remembering Krishna. So acting according to regulative principles. It's not that we can do what we want to do and we can achieve it. We have to, Krishna says everything that we need to do in the Bhagavad Gita and all the scriptures that are there, everything we need to do to achieve this personal relationship with Krishna in whatever form it is for the individual, it's all there. It's all there. It's all written. So acting according to regulative principles. Hearing classes by great devotees, sitting with devotees, talking with devotees, chanting chanting the holy name, joining kirtans, bhajans, if you have japa beads, on japa beads, and most importantly of all, remembering. Because through remembering, then we can start seeing him in all interactions, in all situations, and when that starts, it's like a landslide. Still, we can stop it, because if we do something incorrectly, still, so it's not like a landslide, because a landslide doesn't stop, but I can't really think of a good analogy for that. But it really starts going. If we do it properly with enthusiasm and surrender, it can't be stopped. But, funny enough, it can be if we choose to do our own thing. Sorry, I can't really think of an analogy for that. The fifth one's a little bit intense, so I won't really go too depth. But abandoning the association of non-devotees. That's a little bit intense, so I won't go. But 6, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. So listening to the classes, listening to what they say and acting upon it. So like Prabhupada and other great acharyas, listening to what they have to say in the books all over the place and saying, yeah. I mean, look, if you look at what Prabhupada did and so many great acharyas, it works. And you associate with devotees and you see the change in their lives, you see the change in your own life. And it's incredible. The faith is there. And then these 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Undoubtedly. So, I mean, that's the power of surrender, you know? Like, why surrender? Guaranteed protection. We're guaranteed protection by Krishna himself. All love is there, because from surrendering more and more and more, as you surrender unto me, I reciprocate accordingly. The more we surrender, the more Krishna manifests in our heart. And the more we love Krishna, the more he loves us back. If we're doing it with sincerity, enthusiasm, and not for our own benefit. And you feel it, man. It's incredible. And in the end, it's a question of we can get to know God personally. We don't need to be in this relationship with God where it's personal, but still a little bit impersonal. You know, we still have this understanding and this love is there, but the personal relationship that can be there is something completely incredible. We can really, and he can reciprocate. Like you hear stories like in Vrindavan all the time of the deities there, the Brajabasis. Obviously they're Brajabasis, they're at a very, very, very elevated level. But the opportunity is there. Krishna reciprocates. And that's incredible. That we can really have this personal relationship with Krishna. And that's, I guess that's the essence. And let's see. But yes, so to go back to the verse, chapter 9, text 29. It's not a question of being impartial, partial. It's just reciprocation. I'm equal to all because he teaches us all the same thing and he gives mercy to everybody. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend. If we surrender unto Krishna with sincerity, we can become a friend. He says it himself. It's not that we become like a friend who's like, that guy. We can become dear friends. Very, very dear friends and very, very personal friends of Krishna. That is there. And I am also a friend to him. So it's not that we are friends of Krishna, but he becomes a friend to us. And he reciprocates with us. And he shows us these incredible things and yeah, that's it. Gurarati is starting, I think, in like a minute now. But that's it. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending the class. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Eva Jaya Jaya Gora Chande Aratika Shobha Jagamanadova Daki Nirita Mami Gardara Nikajera Daita Dini Vada Jata Dada Gaurata Nana Simhasane Aroti Korena Brahma Hari Deva Gyane Arati Korena Brahma Hari Deva Gyane Nara Hari Hari Kori Yamarajudara Sanjaya Mukunda Badu Vajari Gyaya Sanjaya Ganta Bhaje Bhaje Gadada Jaya Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhyayala Madhuranga Danga Bhaje Paramadasala Danga Bhaje Danga Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Raga Bhaje Gana Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Madhur Madhur